they're going to throw a third ban at Fnatic, or if they're just going to go with something like Shen again to stop Soaz having a safety.
I think the Leona actually was probably quite a key pick from Yellowstar. I think he played really solidly throughout the laning phase, and I think they need to watch out for that again, especially because Uzi didn't pick up Cleanse, he picked up the barrier, so he's very susceptible to that CC from Leona. So they need to watch for that, because I think Fnatic can pull it out strong.
Yeah, and last game, RYL picked Jax into whatever Fnatic had to throw at them. The first pick is going to be so telling right here, because counter-picking the mid lane for Whites worked extremely well against Peke. But at the same time, the mid lane so far in the World Championship, since it's been so assassin-focused this far, does seem to be defaulting back to just the Gragas and the Orianna. And Orianna was so dominant in that last game. It's a really strange first pick, but I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, we can relate to Faker as well when he was playing the Orianna. It was a solid pick for him as well. And it seems that mid laners are just defaulting back to this Orianna. It's very strong lane presence, got great utility for the team, and it's interesting to see the first pick coming out there. Is he going to respond with a Fizz again? I'm not so sure. It didn't work out before. It's in the balance here.
They have all the time in the world to wait. Like we said yesterday, mids were getting down to 8th, 9th pick within the order, finding their way, Shen not being banned. These teams going a bit more orthodox. We're seeing them focus out Peke. We see the Vayne and the Annie gone. They are respecting Tabe's Annie play. So we're going to see what Fnatic actually taking quite a bit here to lock in.
It is interesting actually, like Peke is quite a diverse champion pool. He could pull out something like a Diana. We've seen that before out of him. He could go for that, try and surprise White a little bit as possible. But the Ahri has been left open this time. So I think, yeah, Ahri's a solid pick by Peke. Lots of roaming, and the Aatrox as well, as we said before. Picks up the Aatrox. I think it's a lot less skill shot dependent. He'll have the impact that he wanted to have anyway.
I think as far as RYL's going, they're just playing almost generalist right now, because Orianna is your kind of safe all-around mid laner. Renekton has been first picked so much in the Chinese LPL that they are completely safe picking that into absolutely anything. Renekton was banned in the first game, so they're still picking this one in blind. Fnatic effectively has to come up with a counter right now to RYL's just safe champions.
I'm curious to see if we see Soaz go to a Rumble or a Cannon. I think he could fall back onto that, for example. Renekton wins the lane matchup actually there, but I think as far as team comp goes, I think it might help them then. We need to watch out though for Fnatic. They need to start the strong lane presence. They didn't have it last time. It was really, the game fell apart actually from their laning phase, which we didn't expect. So I think he really needs to find a strong lane that he's comfortable with against the Renekton.
And with comfortable lanes, we see a lot of Zyras coming out, which we haven't throughout these two teams. It's been more engage, get yourself into the fight. We haven't seen the safe play, and we may have to see that coming in here from Fnatic this game. Right now, they have 2 divers looking at a third. This could be pretty scary for them. Maybe they go for the same thing.
That's a very interesting pick. The Ashe-Zac has a lot of synergy with an Ahri follow-up later, but that's a very, very risky lane to pull off the Ashe. Are they going to combo it up with the Ashe-Zyra lane later on? I don't know. I feel like Yellowstar would like to default to a Leona, especially if they've locked in the Sona now. Leona would be really good against Orianna, really good against Sona. So.
But who runs Leona Ashe is the real question. RYL can just kind of sit into this, and the fact that Corki wasn't picked by Fnatic, I feel like Uzi just defaults back into that, knowing his Vayne is banned away. Maybe he could play Caitlyn against Ashe, but as far as just loading damage and knowing RYL is so good at grouping up and forcing team fights, I'd expect this Corki here to combo up with Sona. Tabe doesn't even show that much of a proficiency for Zyra. He's played support Annie and support Sona. The instantaneous or close to instantaneous group crowd control is so good for him. And even though Fnatic seems to want to go for Zyra, I like the Sona.
Yeah, but it's interesting as they did pick up the RYL and not the Corki. Maybe he just wants a bit more maneuverability in the lane. If Yellowstar does pick up a skill shot champion like Leona, like Zyra, gives him a bit more versatility in the lane. And I think the lane advantage goes to RYL in this situation. Even though Ashe-Zyra is a strong lane, it's more for the team fights like later on, and then the picks as well they can create with Ashe and Ahri. There's so many pick opportunities later on, in which the Fnatic is very renowned for. So I think that's going to help them a lot.
See what they have for each other. Something that always plays in my mind now that RYL continuously picks Elise is what Tabe was saying in his interview at the quarterfinals when he said, I didn't play very well, I got ganked a lot in lane. And it was by an Elise over and over and over again. So to have that on their team, that Tabe feels a little bit safer in that bottom lane.
Yeah, Lucky's he reverts back to Elise quite a lot. It's one of his core champions, so he'd be very comfortable with having Elise on his lineup. It's interesting to see, though, how Peke can pull off this Ahri. Some Ahris have actually struggled. Faker's Ahri was struggling for a while as well, so it's going to be interesting if Peke can step it up. It is, maybe you could say, his first or second champion with Orianna in there as well. He does understand the matchup, but I feel like White's going to have a little bit of an edge again in this laning phase.
And I think this game hinges heavily on White's performance against Peke, because I look at the godlike lane with Renekton. I don't think Soaz is going to be winning that. I see Uzi being so safe on Ezreal, and Pushu and Yellowstar and Ashe Zyra don't really historically dominate any lane. So unless Peke gets going, this is another one for RYL. All eyes on Peke here for me.
The one little bit of difference I would say in this situation is they have the opportunity to create more picks, which Fnatic's very renowned for. With the Ashe, with the Ahri, even the Zac as well, they can make a lot more pick opportunities around the map. So if they do fall behind early on, they can make things happen mid to late and like catch up, for example.
Yeah,
and we actually see coming through Twitch, not even looked at again throughout picks and bans for Uzi. Kind of different being one of his huge carries, a way that they got here, but to kind of shy away from it. Is it too expected from the champions or just not in the composition of the cards?
I also think a lot of the game has changed, and Uzi has been going with either the Trinity Force carries or just Caitlyn Vayne. While the Twitch can be extremely successful, especially against a team like Fnatic, who plays a lot of Leona and a lot of punishing people for almost low mobility, Uzi's good enough that he can avoid the mobility. And when he knows he's against a bunch of divers, I think he's going to stay away from Twitch.
And one I think we should be also looking at is Renekton for Godlike.
Yeah,
he is renowned to be the best Renekton player in China. And that it was a ban in the first game. This time around, it snuck through. Jax was wide open. Obviously, we've already seen Jax against Renekton doesn't work out so well.
It would be interesting to see if they actually force the 2v1. I can't see Soaz being comfortable playing against Godlike's Renekton, but at the same time, he didn't do that well against Tabby and Uzi in the last game in the 2v1 with Zac, so they might be conscious of that. I think he's a better time against an Ashe Zyra, sorry, not an Ashe Zyra, Sona Ezreal than he will have against the Vayne Lulu. I feel like Zac just gets shut down very, very hard by that Vayne. So we'll see how it comes out.
Yeah, I think specifically the Ezreal from Uzi is very interesting. I've heard him talk about his AD carry preferences in the past, and he does not believe in blue build Ezreal. Even though he plays Ezreal, he will only go damage. I think Trinity Force is enough damage for him because he gets the extra move speed to chase people down. That's the only reason he's going Trinity Force, because he's diving in.
I would say...
No, I was just going to talk about the Zyra Ashe. Obviously, it was what Fnatic used to get here in the first place. You saw it firsthand, obviously, how devastating that combo can be. What do you think they're going to push to the 2v1 to deal with Renekton? Would it be the best option, or rather going against Uzi, who has been dominant so far in this tournament?
I think we need to be careful. In the last time we had the 2v1 situation where Lucky came down with Godlike and actually got a pick on Yellowstar. So it didn't actually, the 2v1 situation didn't pay off in both lanes for Fnatic last time. So they need to be really watch for that. They can't afford that to happen in the laning phase. They need to shut down Renekton, not let him get going. Same with Jax. We saw how strong he became throughout the game when he swapped it back up. So need to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I know I definitely wouldn't want to be in that lane, especially since you're getting a little bit of sustain there. It's always going to hurt. You're going to be able to deny all that plant damage. But coming in, again, we have to look at Ahri versus Orianna now. Coming in for white, coming for Peke. Peke now getting a little bit more of what he wanted. Gone Ahri. Do we think he can fare better in this matchup? Is he going to roam more? Is he going to be stuck in mid from white? I
think it's going to be really integral because I don't see him getting too much help from Cyanide. Cyanide, when he plays Aatrox, really likes to farm. He's like, he farms and farms and farms. It's not a bad thing to do.
Right, absolutely.
But it's going to leave Peke vulnerable in that mid lane where Orianna has quite a bit of strength in the lane against Ahri initially. And I think Lucky's going to be roaming around a lot more. We might see Lucky go more to the bot lane and help, well, not the bot lane, sorry, helping out Renekton a bit more often. I think he might not actually stay near mid lane. So mid lane might just be a pure skill matchup with Orianna against Ahri. So it'll be interesting to see what pays off.
0-0 mid lane for a while until we can find somebody roaming around.
Yeah, and I do really have to point more attention to the mid lane.
Yeah.
I think Peke has a much better chance in this game than he did in the last one, because even though I think he got a little bit surprised by White's skill on Orianna in the last game, because he was so confident first picking that Fizz, and Peke was riding on a huge amount of confidence because he was able to first pick Kassadin multiple times in the quarterfinals and was really just riding that hype train for himself. Now that he's been able to think about it, say, he's got his Orianna, I know what I can do on Ahri, and Peke's been historically very strong on Orianna, if I think back to the European regionals. This is Peke putting himself in a place where he can succeed.
And talking about those mid laners, something that Fnatic didn't pull out in that first game was the teleports. There was no sign of them. Are they going to pull it out this time around? Obviously, we just having picks and bans. They're going through it again, so we haven't seen the summoner spells exactly what they're going to come out. But Peke on Ahri, teleport was his thing. If you remember back to the group stage, that's where he came around the back, completely surprised the teams.
All right, Snoopy, thank you very much. We will be seeing you for Game 3. We're about to jump into this one, and it is going to be Game 2. RYL versus Fnatic. RYL up on 1 right now. This is a best of 5 coming in. Riv, Chat, and D-Man about to break it down.
We are indeed about to break it down. You can see straight away, no sign of teleport once again from Fnatic. So they're not going for that tactic, keeping it in their pockets for when they really need it. And That's ballsy play straight away.
So the reason I think Peke is going with Ignite right here is because when you bring Teleport, you're actually putting yourself in a little bit of a lane disadvantage to begin with. And since Fnatic lost the lane so badly last game, they might not even be able to get away with it in this match because it would just allow Whites even more freedom against Peke in lane specifically.
See where they can go from this. Looks like they're all just going to be personal sentries. Actually, not too many wards being placed out here, but Fnatic will move power in numbers as they go hip to hip into the banana brush, and they're going to find Godlike, but I don't think they'll get too much out of it.
No, he's going to back away from this one. Remember, they did go face to face in the first game, and actually no kills were exchanged, despite the fact a lot of damage was traded back and forward. No focus this time, but Fnatic are going for that invade on towards red, and RYL are looking to maybe try and respond this.
Yeah, but RYL's not grouped up anywhere. So if Fnatic did find one, they would at the very least burn a flash.
Soaz already used his slingshot. They go into the brush with that cooldown there. An instant cleanse on the grasping root. It's going to be a lot of damage. One or few more hits. Cyanide's going to try to grab the aggro, but it goes to Peke. Forced to flash already. That's going to be big for White mid lane, but it continues.
Oh, no. Continuing around the backside. Lookie's going to come in. He gets down to Soaz. Lookie may go down from this one. Is there going to be no hit? Yellow Star's in trouble. He's going to go down. Pusher's going to go down.
Oh my gosh.
It's a double. It's a triple. It's disaster for Fnatic at level 1.
When Fnatic decided to dive the turret for Uzi, everyone needed to follow through. They got caught halfway through. Soaz started tanking the turret, but guess what? There's still a bunch of RYL people in the jungle closing in on the rest of Fnatic. 2 went one way, 3 went the other, and the fact that 3 people of Fnatic ran into a team on RYL was absolute disaster.
With the flashes down, everything that comes of this, it means RYL has advantage on the lanes to look for the kills. They even probably have enough time to back and put purchases in here, starting with a Doran's Ring. Peke is going to get himself some help, but he's also against Whites' Doran, and 2 assists there.
So in the laning phase, at least, because the kills were so delayed for RYL, they haven't bought significant items yet out of this one. The only big significant purchase was actually Peke's crystalline flask on top of whatever he's gotten early, and the Spirit Stone from Lucky.
1,000 gold lead already for RYL Gaming. Just 3 minutes into this game, coming into lane phase. We did see the defensive ball being picked up by Whites there, actually using it to save Lucky's life. But that jungler having 2-0-1 start will be immense on that. At least we saw him in the last game, how strong he can be in terms of coming in, ganking potential, helping out that top lane with Godlike. That's going to surely cause problems for Soaz in the top lane.
It's going to play on the mentality. You go into a game and you're thinking, when is that first hit going to chip off the block? When are we going to be behind a little bit? And if it happens at 2 minutes, it weighs on your mind the entire time. We've seen teams win a game and still be stressed at the end. This would be one of those. Uzi taking some big damage, but they don't fully aggress.
Fnatic already completely put on their back foot, and as we said, no teleports to try and recover here. Lucky trying to take those 2 kills and aggressively counter jungle Fnatic Cyanide. He's taken his race an inch away from where the red buff is being taken down as well.
And already in the top lane, Godlike, he's farming between the lanes. Soaz is already feeling the pinch of that very first assault. Of course, remember, there's no passive available. That went down, Cell Division was used already, so he's got a timer on that one, and Soaz is going to be really careful. Meanwhile, just off to the right of the screen, we see Cyanide and Lucky fighting over the Golem. Soaz is thinking of going aggressive here. Dodges out, they're going to go in aggressive.
A little bit of missed damage there. Lucky very low, does not have the repel in time. Whites is also fighting Peke in middle. Back and forth, the ignites go down, the damage is upped, but they will not find the kill on each other.
The fact that the double buffs there were transferred back to Cyanide is huge. Lucky pressed his luck a little too long there, trying to get in between the double golems. That time he landed his Q Soaz comboed, and Godlike was not in the right position because the top lane wave was in the wrong spot, and effectively Lucky just got bursted down before Godlike could react.
Potentially a little bit of over-aggression from RYL. Maybe the first time we've seen that one. Push shoot and Yellow Star under pressure in that bottom lane. And again, Whites is going to be the target, forced to flash away this time. And he will avoid it, but summon a spell burn.
A good aggression there, and Cyanide actually kind of curbing what he usually does in that farm and ganking a bit for Aatrox here. Peke was very low though. They may try to reactivate that gank, but it does not work out as Fnatic wary.
Cyanide absolutely helping out 2 of his solo lanes very early on in the game, something that he was not able to do successfully in the last one. I really like that Aatrox pick, capitalizing on Lucky's aggression.
Look at this bottom lane though, the pressure being applied. 34 to 20 CS already between Uzi and Pushu. Big advantage there. Whites 43 to 18 in this mid lane. White is dominating Peke once again in terms of farm.
You see Uzi taking those hits left and right. Few grasping roots here. Said it in the early game. They're just going to be able to heal that up with Sona already pushing down hard. 45 to 18 in that mid lane, but he has back for his second ring. So Peke may be able to make a play as he's going to be hitting 6 here within the next few minutes.
Something Tabe actually did in this bottom lane as well is he got a multitude of mana potions early on in the game. And Sona's healing is generally gated by mana more than anything else, so that means that Uzi and Tabe can be more aggressive and take more hits.
Ooh, Cyanide looking for a little bit too much there, and he gets pushed off of the front door.
Yeah, Soaz is pushed that lane up, but again, it's Lucky and Godlike feeling the pinch, pushing around, taking away everything from the jungle of Cyanide. And Cyanide, while he's been trying to be as aggressive as he can, he's getting caught out. They're going to go in though. They're going to get Let's Bounce going down. Ultimate on towards Godlike. Hasn't hit 6 yet. And of course the Bloodwell not available because he's Renekton.
Just great timing right there by Fnatic. Renekton doesn't have the Bloodwell. Tricks on you right there. Soaz able to hit 6 first, capitalize, and this solo lane comeback by Soaz is really huge because we look at Peke in the mid lane. He's dying to White, seemingly 26 to 52, and it's all about Soaz and Cyanide right now.
Deja vu here on the other side of the map. This was just Cyanide being pushed out of that double golems area. Now we get it down onto the side of RYL, and they're having a bit trouble behind the turret. We see 2 in the top lane, still going strong. The aggression in mid, still coming from Whites, but he's taking damage in those trades.
Well, let's see how that aggression works out from Cyanide. Hasn't gone back to buy yet, just about popping back. We'll see what he comes out with. Will it be a second Dorans? Will he continue the aggression? We do see Whites heading in towards his bottom lane. The bottom lane itself has been pushed heavily. They're going to go aggressive on Pushu. He's going to have to get away from this one. Grasping Roots does come out, stops Uzi in his tracks, but that 3v1 dive is coming.
Yeah, this bottom lane is not going well whatsoever for Fnatic. Pushu is a level behind both Uzi and Tabe, and that just pushed him straight back. Even though the last pick was Zyra, RYL knew exactly the lane they were going to be going up against, because as soon as Fnatic picked Ashe, RYL knew that it would be comboed with Zyra, and that Sona Ezreal pick is a direct choice by RYL to go against, and it is paying off. 65 to 25. That is not even close.
And Pushu is usually somebody that comes up for his team and makes plays. You can see he has 1,600 gold right now to the 2,300 of Uzi, and Pushu's going utility on this one. Uzi getting pretty hurt, and there it is, the final attack from Cyanide. The Ignite goes down, and he actually runs off with that summoner spell.
Wow.
That was a very big surprise for Uzi. He had his flash up, and he decided to not go away. I don't think he expected Cyanide to be level 6, or he underestimated his burst potential, because he's actually played against Aatrox before. RYL is an Aatrox team occasionally. That is just a great play by Cyanide and a rare misplay from Uzi.
So Dragon gonna pick top here, and you know, it's the fact that Cyanide went back, got those boots of mobility, the double Dorans. We talked about what he was gonna build into. He's gone for the aggression, and it's paid off right there. 3-0 right now, Cyanide. That's the Dragon for Fnatic.
After a disastrous opening when Fnatic gave up 3 kills, they have played nearly flawlessly throughout the rest of this. Even though they're losing in the laning phase, this is the game where Cyanide is stepping up. As you said, the boots of mobility are allowing him to make it into positions faster. Cyanide was in the right positions last game, he just wasn't making the plays on Lee Sin. He's making the plays this game on Aatrox, and it's a big reason Fnatic has been able to pull themselves back to an even game.
Crepo was kind of talking about that on the analyst desk. These junglers fast, going for the early speed, that movement around the jungle play style instead of auras for the team, helping yourself out. Although Crumbs also said in his interview the auras are there in the late game. So the junglers are really taking a bigger role in this tournament than before.
Speaking of junglers, we see again Lucky on that red buff, stole it away from Cyanide. So while Cyanide may be being the aggressive one, he is having his jungle stolen away from him. But we've got to talk about the farm, because that is a devastating differential in that bottom lane. Uzi at 80 CS to Pushu's 33. That is monstrous.
Yeah, that is a problem. And now that the turret has gone down, how is Fnatic going to deal with Uzi and Tabe roaming around the map? RYL is a team that loves to just appear with 4 or 5 people and brute force down turrets. Uzi has the freedom to do that as well, because he doesn't even have to worry about Pushu catching up and farm.
Yeah, we see that Pushu right now trying to be full utility. 3 Dorans in his build. Cyanide going quite hard onto Lucky. He finds him in the jungle. Will the Spider be able to get out on this one? Peke picks himself up a nice kill. The assist go around. The crescendo coming out onto Peke, and they may be able to get the shockwave.
I'm not sure it's the right choice because Soaz has joined the party. Tammy's going to go down. It's feeding Peke kills. He's going to dodge out of this one. Can he get the third? No, he won't. It will go to Soaz. Bloodwell is available for Cyanide. Uzi's in trouble. He's going to have to arcade shift away from the arrow, and he will get out there, but that was another good fight for Fnatic.
And this just pulls the game even closer. It is RYL over farming and Fnatic over fighting right now. You can see Cyanide time the lucky coming back down. Whites was waiting to find the right shockwave, and Peke in the crescendo, Whites didn't have his cooldowns to get the ball in position for that in time, which is why Peke was able to dodge away from it. And this is actually a little bit of greed right here from Peke. He shouldn't have went back in. He wanted to get more kills for himself since he is the carry. It cost him his life.
And then over the wall. Uzi makes himself safe. So we have Godlike pressuring the turret after that. It did cause some commotion on the map, so we're going to see top lane getting pressured there. A good movement by RYL. They will grab a bit of that gold lead. It's only 600 right now. Last game, it was about 10,000 within the next 9 minutes of the game.
Well, it's swung back and forward. It's been 1,000 to RYL, 1,000 back to Fnatic. Now we're heading back towards 1,000 to RYL because while that was all happening, Godlike stayed in the top lane, pushed down that turret, got themselves the second turret of the game. As of yet, Fnatic yet to get close to touching those turrets.
And there is an unrelenting farm advantage from RYL right now. 109 and 106 if we look at Whites and Uzi, to just 78 and an abysmal 53 from Pushu's Ashe right now. Only the kills that are created by Cyanide and Fnatic's attempt to almost punish RYL for being so aggressive in their way of getting farmed is keeping Fnatic in this game. The lane problem that Fnatic had last game is not really being solved. They're barely keeping themselves in this one because Cyanide has been so impactful.
And he is 51 and 36 CS, but he still comes out of the jungle. A great shockwave pulls him back, but it's Peke. The arrow flies across, and it gets the kill onto Tabe. They look for Whites. They take him down as well. And another two, now for nothing. Last one was a 3-for-1.
These are the picks that Fnatic put into their team composition. That is why they had Ashe and Ahri, because they can find the right team fights, and it is absolutely keeping them in this game.
Well, we talked about the difference between Orianna and Ahri, the picks, how it was going to work out. In terms of farm, don't get me wrong, Whites is staying miles ahead, but Peke is getting going, and that is a danger sign for RYL Club right now.
They will be able to create their pick soon. They have taken back the gold lead, D-Man, as you're saying, it's swaying back and forth, and it's doing it every minute of the game. Ooh. Another noodle fight in the top here by Soaz and Godlike. Neither of these guys are taking each other down.
But this time, Soaz has the level advantage on Godlike. It's a reversal of what we saw in the last match. The fact that Soaz is able to push Godlike in means Godlike can't roam around with the rest of RYL to create 5v4 team fights like he loves to do on Renekton so much.
So let's have a look. I mean, let's not get wrong. Pushu is still being absolutely massacred in this bottom lane. It's not even close. To be at double the CS at 120 to 62 is still enormous. And we know that Uzi is RYL's carry effectively. But if Peke can get going, which he is, Deathfire Grasp will be out soon. If he can land that charm on Uzi, he will go down very quickly.
We can actually see Pushu and Yellowstar just a few seconds ago, that True Shot Barrage passing through their two-man Fnatic rush try. They try to get their own gank in. You can see them. They are trying to make moves. Like Ocelot said, the one thing I've learned from this tournament is you have to be able to make moves and go in when you even think it's wrong.
Well, at this point, Fnatic can't make any mistakes because even though they're out-killing RYL, RYL is the ones with excessive farm advantages. So if RYL gets any kills back, they're going to close out a lot of large bounties from Fnatic and jump even farther ahead. Knowing that Uzi has cleanse on Ezreal right now, there's no good way for Fnatic to actually lock them down. They're trying to catch them, so Fnatic actually has to kill everyone else but Uzi, because I don't think he's a realistic focused target. And if Uzi gets too far ahead, he's going to crush Fnatic.
Well, Fnatic grouping up for this one, but RYL Club are ready this time around. Soaz was looking around the side, maybe they can get it coming in. RYL going for that full 5-man defense. Dragon up in 2 seconds time. This could be our first big battle.
Everyone has roamed down at this point. There is a pretty big edge here. Soaz is level 11, whereas Godlike is level 10. So
steal.
And that is also very huge. Having double blue buff on RYL gives them a lot of extra cooldown in this fight, which is bound to happen. Sign at the very least will go for a steal.
I'm watching for the shockwave on this one. Where's it? Oh no, he missed the shock! They go for Cyanide! They keep going down. Whites is all over him. The dragon has not yet gone down, but he's dealing some DPS. Godlike finds the hit, but they continue the fight.
They continue to go round, and Soaz round the backside gets down Uzi. This could be an ace for Fnatic. They're closing on towards Whites. Tabe is there as well. There's no dragon, so they're going to keep on pushing this one. Tabe is going to get slowed down. The elastic sting shot, the red buff, doing its work. Who are they going to give the kill to? They need to give it to Pushu. He needs to get fed. They get him. Ari, meanwhile, he's chasing. Peke is on to Whites. Whites finally backs away. It's a 4-for-1 exchange. Dragon did go across. I'll tell a lie, it didn't even get touched.
It ran right back to its pit because the fight just distracted from it. Fnatic got the good fight there because Soaz was level 11, 2 Godlikes level 10. Fnatic was stronger overall in fights, and Uzi wasn't an issue. Because the charm landed early on Uzi, it took him out of the fight. And then Whites, with a huge mistake on Orianna, did not combo on any of Fnatic's dives. Fnatic spread out very well in that fight, so even if Whites would have landed the Shockwave, it only would have been on one person. And then the repetitive dive from Soaz was able to finish off Uzi in the very end. Fnatic did everything right in this fight and really chased RYL down. It punished RYL for having so much focus on Orianna, and the rest of Fnatic just chased down.
That Orianna ball, especially with 3 members of Fnatic able to jump out the delivery system, has to be on a person. It can't be a skill shot ultimate. I'm sure Whites has got that in his mind for the next fight. At 13-5, finally, a bit of a more than 1,000 gold lead coming in here for Fnatic. 16 minutes in. 4 minutes from now, RYL took Baron last game. It's a completely different game.
And talking about gold, you know, Uzi has got that farm, 150 CS, but he's 0-3-1. Meanwhile, you look at it, it's only, what, 600 gold difference between Pushu, despite the fact he had that enormous CS advantage still, because he's 2-1-4, because they started feeding him those kills in that fight.
And I really have to credit a lot to Soaz's Zac in this game. He's 2 levels ahead of Godlike, and 1,500 gold ahead, as well as wearing these double buffs. He's the thing that is in the way and effectively blocking a lot of Uzi's Mystic shots to shut him down in these team fights. He's the second diver that is helping the rest of Fnatic come and win a lot of these fights, as they have been up 13 kills to 5.
It's like Fnatic's getting pinched into their own mid. This is being forced in. The crescendo comes out. The shockwave hits, and they obliterate Peke down. The Vero comes across. Oh, it splits the uprights, and they're not able to get anything out of it. They continue into the turret.
This is not a good fight for Fnatic. They're going to have to back away from this one. That's 2 kills down now. And say, you called it right at the start. They simply locked them up. Aggressive play coming out from Tabe with that flash crescendo.
Pushu trying to catch up on farm there, and RYL does not care about people in turrets. If they have more than you, they will dive the turret, and that is RYL execution. They're going to keep pushing this.
This is big for them. We saw this happen in the SKT game. Can they go all the way to the inhibitor here with a quick push? They have 1 second on Peke. He does have home guards. He grabs those quite early. He'll be able to help defend on the inhibitor.
Wow, so 2 towers picked up from RYL. We talked about the aggression. I was mentioning it in game 1. Even when they were a 10k lead, they weren't going diving. Now they're even on gold. They're just getting straight in there. They know how to get back in this game.
It's the way they get back into games, is they group up as 5 and they force fights. And even though Fnatic was spread out, Peke might get a little bit of revenge as well. Even though Fnatic was spread out in that last fight, Whites used his shockwave on 1 and they finished off Peke. I guess it was worth it, because if you don't finish off Peke, he's going to just go and kill you.
So, I'm interested who got the actual shutdown gold there. I think it was Whites, because there was a lot of people. There was Sayonara who had barely been touched, Peke was barely been touched, and both of them went down in that fight. There was a lot of gold transferred across the RYL. We do see Fnatic taking their first turret of the game in that mid lane.
Uzi is the one who got Soaz's killing spree in the last fight, which is fairly large for him, the only kill of the game that he's been able to pick up. And despite Uzi's giant farm advantage, he's been held back. Fnatic looking for fights.
They are doing the pick game. Here it comes once again. Godlike looking to get himself out of this one. Feels like he can waltz it out. Tabe's there to help, but Tabe might have gotten himself into the I think I can situation. They have to throw down Dominus, and they walk out of this.
And now all of RYL is trying to put up a counterattack, but their big tank in Renekton is gone, which means if Pushu lands an arrow, there is no real defense to stop the rest of Fnatic coming in.
Fnatic are looking to create a situation. Of course, that top turret could be the focus, but where are RYL going? Are they going to try and transfer this one? Pushu and Soaz heading towards that top. They need to shove this wave in. They need to start getting those turrets, more importantly, because they are slowly but surely, despite they're winning the guerrilla warfare at 15-8, they are starting to be pushed into their own base.
And it is very rare that the team that gets substantially outfarmed, as we've seen Uzi over Pushu and Whites over Xpeke, and destroyed on turrets. At one point, it was 4 turrets to 1. has a chance, even the slightest of hopes of winning, it's only because Fnatic has forced so many good team fights that they've been able to stay in this game. But the trend is still in the favor of RYL because they have the ability to take more map control. As soon as they get any shutdown bonuses, they can crush back. And there's a reason that they were able to have so much lane dominance and push in. It's because generally their champions are stronger when they're fighting.
And right now, a fight win means so much more of the map is open. Fnatic, semi-lanes push, they win a fight, and we see them backing. We don't see them pushing turrets or anything. So not really gaining too much advantages off of what they have, but they have, again, grabbed back the gold lead that has swayed a handful of times already, and it still will.
And, you know, talking about that gold lead, the advantage the AD carries had. Because Uzi had such a dominant lane, he's now got himself a Triforce and a Last Whisper. Because Pushu was in so much trouble, he had to get that triple Doran's Blade. Now he's finally completed the Infinity Edge. But he's behind in builds.
Way behind. Pushu is pretty much just his Ash Arrow and a little bit of backline support. That's okay for Fnatic because they are a solo lane focused team. It just pushes more onto Soaz and Peke. I like the fact that Soaz went with Mercury Treads on Zac and the Haunting guys. So he gets the magic penetration, but he still has the tenacity to move through the team fights. It's something that during previous rounds of World Championships, Zax did not do. Fnatic, though, looking for a fight.
Dangerous situation, though. Soaz is not with them yet. He's coming in very late into this fight, and if RYL had have gone for it, if they'd had a vision, they're going to pull the shockwave.
They crush it down, the crescendo follows after, one after the other. They get the consecutive crowd control, and it is going to be a first kill coming up quick. Cyanide Yellow Star is down, but Tabe follows quickly. They still go on to Soaz, but he is going to be able to run this one out for his team. Back to the fight, and it's Peke getting a kill for himself. No, Pushu picks that up. Peke's on the Ignite. The charm goes out, and he lives.
Absolute crazy aggression coming out from this one. Pushing with the Ignite. He saves himself with the barrier just off the side there. Soaz gets a kill down. Lucky comes back in. Back and forward action. It was a 4-for-3 fight though, and it actually went in favor of Fnatic just.
And that's the perfect explanation of how this entire game is going right now. Let's take a look at how this happened. The Shockwave comboed with Tabe's Crescendo seemed to wipe out Fnatic, but that was only their support and their jungle, plus Silent had his revive passive up, so it meant Fnatic could still launch a counterattack, and this is how far ahead Soaz is. While Godlike is dying to Peke and Pushu, Soaz is taking on 2.5 people of RYL. Uzi actually gives up on Soaz and then rushes for Peke. Peke surprised Uzi a bit by flashing with his Spirit Rush, and then Pushu was far enough back that he could counter onto Uzi once he came in. Soaz, the monster that he is, finished off another kill, and Lucky finally ate up the pieces at the end.
And look at this, we're back at it again. The dragon is up, everybody settles themselves, and it seems that we're going to have another party in the dragon pit. The rest of Fnatic starting to position themselves as our RYL.
And Fnatic actually needs this fight to happen in about 15 seconds. They need Zac's ultimate to be up, because right now RYL has Shockwave and Reduction Ult. If RYL fought right now, they would have an edge.
They throw the True Shot Barrage through. Not too much is going to be followed up. It's the arrow to Godlike.
The arrow onto Godlike. Will it be the right focus? Lucky's taken low at the side there. We also see Fnatic peeling off. They know Let's Bounce is still not available, which is why they're trying to delay this fight out as much as possible.
Tabe Crescendo not going to be up for this fight, and you can see the hesitation coming into the battle.
Whoa!
Another missed Shockwave by Whites.
They're going to try and catch on. Cyanide doesn't land that slow, and everybody disengages ever so slowly.
Everybody calm down here. There's nothing happening. Let's Bounce is up, but nobody wants to party with Soaz at this point. That's why RYL was flying away right now. And because of that, RYL's trying to take a little bit of Baron control. But guys, this game is ridiculously close.
6-8, 30,600. Wow, that's not a number. 37,000 gold to 35,000 gold. Those are real numbers. Let's work with those. We can see Soaz completely changing his game around. For that last game, it was like, wow, the mechanical skill in each lane is just far surpassing, but not the story coming into this one. Everybody's matched up or beat their lane now on Fnatic.
And the reliance for Uzi right now, he's still at 146. He's not getting those kills. They are going to Whites, and 4-1-6 Pushu, despite how badly he did in lane, he's still being given the kills. And we saw that great play just up towards the end of that fight, the barrier saving him from the Ignite, and just about holding on in there. And still, 19-11, Fnatic holding on with their kill score. They still can't get towers down. Every time they hit this fight, there's nothing left to push a tower.
And Peke's Ahri build is actually a little bit odd. He just now finished a DFG, but that was after having a Seeker's Arm Guard. he's making sure to build a little bit of defensive itemization because he knows how quickly Uzi and Whites are willing to trade damage back on him and how quick-fingered Tabe is with those crescendos. So if Peke gets caught in one, he doesn't want to instantly die, and I think that's actually one of the things that's allowed Peke to stick around in some of these fights. Like that last 4-for-3 we had, he was at a sliver when Uzi was chasing him down.
He's definitely keeping his mind on how can I get kills. And in fact, I think he got the return on investment. As soon as he bought those home guards after the mid fight we saw, he got that kill on Whites in mid instantly. So he knows what he needs to be doing from step to step, setting the chess pieces in place. But right now, 4 turrets down, vision lost on the side of Fnatic with a gold lead. Means they definitely are on the edge of going in the same way of last game.
And there's a bunch of loaded gold that's willing to swing just based on the results of the next team fight. So if Fnatic wins a decisive team fight, since the turrets are so non-destructed right now on RYL's side, Fnatic would get thousands of global gold right after a team fight. But if RYL wins a decisive team fight, since they've already taken the turrets, it's actually kill bounties that Fnatic have accumulated. This game is actually going to swing or break probably with the first next fight.
Check the pressure once again.
Oh,
Fnatic
man.
with the Cyanide and Pushu.
Look at
Ooh, Cyanide, he really
Everybody's
thinking about
holding
it.
their breath.
I think they know they were there though. So they were trying to push the top lane again. They're trying to get the towers down, but every time they do it, RYL just find the pressure point and they're going to catch on Tabe.
Oh, and missed the grasping root. They throw up the Stranglethorn though, and they could go in. The true Shopperhouse coming through the fight. Tabe down. Can they continue to go? Cyanide's about to come up, and Lucky's going down.
Godluck's trying to take all that front damage tower. He does get Cyanide down. So far, it's just a 1-for-1. Pushu and Uzi going at it right now. Lucky's going to have to back away from this fight. It's Uzi trying to pin the damage down. Everybody, once again, steps away from the fight. Just 1 kill apiece.
And these fights are so close. Soaz and Cyanide are basically sacrificing themselves just to push back Uzi from the rest of Fnatic squishies. But Godlike is doing the same thing on Renekton. Full tank right now. He's not even building a Sunfire Cave because RYL's only objective right now is keep people away from Whites and Uzi. It's one of the big reasons these fights are so low kill, at least that last one.
Are they triple pushing right now, trying to get all these lanes up? Zyra in the top lane, Yellowstar doing what he can with plants. They're trying to get everything in their advantage.
Yeah, that top lane, they've tried 3 times to go up there to push it out. Finally, Pushu is like, right, okay, I'm going to go in the bottom. I'm going to get the farm here. And Yellowstar's like, well, I used to be an AD carry. I can push a lane.
Yeah, but with all that being considered, it's actually RYL who always has the upper hand around the Baron pit. It is denying Fnatic vision, and since Pushu was off to the side, this is a dangerous opportunity. 50-50 once again. Can Cyanide jump in and steal it?
The arrow is not up. There's the Hawk shot to give him vision. Tabe very low. It does not get stolen. Cyanide forced to flash out, but the slice and dice follows, and they may back off on this one.
That was the Baron for the Royal Club, though. Are we going to see Soaz going in? He hasn't got Let's Bounce. There's going to be the Ignite. So they get the arrow catches on towards Whites. The damage on towards Lucky. Can they get any picks off here? Godluck's still in there, locking down Peke. They're going to try and turn the damage. The rest of Royal Club trying to come around.
And Uzi is going to be a huge factor in this fight. He puts himself in the front, cleanses off the damage. The Baron buff is ticking on RYL, and they are going to head Fnatic into their own base.
Soaz, of course, he has got Flash available, but he didn't have Let's Bounce available throughout that entire fight. Peke did go down to Uzi again. The goal heading back towards that AD carry could be vital.
Another crazy aggressive call right there by RYL. Lucky smites absolute faith in himself, but it's just a 50-50. RYL does not care, and now with the Baron and a 5v4, they're getting an inhibitor.
Deja vu for RYL. They are coming in very strong, very early in this best of 5. They seemingly win every lane to come in strong, and Pushu gets crescendo.
We see a dancing Ashe, but is it going to be enough? So as his Let's Bounce is now available, Tabe is going to get locked down. He's catching the rest of the team. There's going to be a lock-up on Lucky. We're going to see the catch on towards him. So as still not in there. Peke will be up in 1 second time, but it is Uzi cleaning up right now. Here comes the home guard Peke. Can he get the damage down to the right target? No. Uzi's going to turn it back onto him.
Can he get to the fountain? Uzi's still chasing in. The Baron buff's going to keep him strong.
And RYL, as they do with Baron buff, trying to take down Nexus turrets.
One turret goes down. Now, yes, they do get it. Uzi's up in the front. He's low on mana. RYL is looking to end this game now.
Wow, just what a turnaround right here. The shockwave pulls
That's it.
in. They get the kill. They get the Nexus. And Royal Club go 2-0. Can you believe it? The plays the Royal Club just made.
What a ridiculous ending from Royal Club there. It only took one call for them to rush the Baron, as we saw in the quarterfinals. Once they got it,